Hi, this is Dan Sullivan with DanSullivanHealthCoach.com, and today I've got a great question from Adam, and he asked about how much he can drink before totally messing up his liver. So, great question. I get this a lot from a lot of clients. How much can I drink, or what types of alcohol are going to be the best? And so, how do I avoid damaging my liver? How do I avoid just damaging my health? And how can I feel decent the next day after a night of drinking? So we've all been there. So I've got a couple tips today for you about liver function, what foods are going to be best, and then also a couple supplements that are going to be very helpful in the whole detoxification process of alcohols. So first and foremost, what to drink. So generally, I recommend drinking some sort of a very dry red wine. Is a sort of an alcohol you can drink. I would probably skip the whites. A lot of white wines have more sugar, which sort of compounds the effects on the liver, or the detrimental effects on the liver. So the liver has to process the toxins of the body. It's sort of like your filter in your car. It has to process all that stuff. So the more sugar you put on that liver to detoxify, the more work it has to do. And then also when you're having alcohol as well, you're kind of doubling up on the workload of your liver. So definitely recommend a dry red wine, or even better, probably a hard liquor. So something like a gluten-free vodka. There's plenty of them out there. Tito's is a brand that's well known. Or something like a gin or tequila. And then skipping the very sugary mixers that come with those. So instead of doing that, what I normally do is just do a seltzer water, or like a soda water with fresh squeezed lime or lemon in there. And so that actually works out really nicely. You get some vitamin C in there that helps to detoxify the alcohol and decrease the detrimental effects of the AGEs, which are advanced glycation end products. And so, easy rule of thumb for AGEs, I know I'm hitting you with some vocab here, but they will literally age you. They'll make your skin age faster, and so alcohol and sugar compound those AGEs. So we want to mitigate the effects of that, right? Nobody wants pre-aged skin, so we'll try to avoid the effects of that. And then I'll talk about vitamin C a little bit later in the video. So that's pretty much my recommendations for alcohol. So either a dry red wine, or I would go with something very low on the sugar content. So definitely avoiding beer, because again, you're going to get a lot of mold toxins in beer. You're going to get a lot of carbohydrates in beer. So again, a lot of those carbohydrates will turn to sugar in the body, and then also the alcohol content as well. Like I just talked about, you have that 1-2 punch for your liver. So not a good scenario. So I would avoid the beers and the white wines and go with something cleaner, either a dry red wine or some hard alcohol, preferably gluten-free. So some foods that support the liver, some great ones are going to be your cruciferous vegetables, your broccoli, cauliflower, kale, chard, all those types of greens, and then some colors in there as well, some beets, carrots, and so forth. And then also things like onions and garlic. Those are going to be great for the liver detoxification as well. So getting plenty of vegetables, you're getting a full spectrum B vitamins from those vegetables, which really help with methylation, number one, and then just also liver function in general. So load up on your vegetables. You can even make smoothies. That's what I do a lot of the time to get them in there. And so that's a great way to do that. And then limiting sugar just in general, not just with the alcohol, but in general. The lower amount of sugar, the better, generally speaking. So when you have lots of sugar, lots of refined carbohydrates, it's not a good scenario for your liver at all, or for your general health. So another thing you can do is, for liver detoxification in general, is going to be coffee enemas. And so that might sound a little weird to somebody listening, but I've been doing them pretty regularly now for a couple of years. It's a little bit weird, when you start to do that. I didn't want to do it at first, but they're a great, they're very advantageous for your detoxification, for your liver. They produce a lot of glutathione, which is your body's natural antioxidant. So they're a great idea. I'll put a couple links down below for the type of coffee. You don't want to just use any old coffee for that. A lot of coffee is infected with mold toxins or aflatoxins, different types of mycotoxins. So I prefer a couple brands. Bulletproof is a great brand. There's a couple other brands on the market that are great for coffee enemas. But if you're willing to do it, they are very, very good for detoxification, and also very much cheaper than buying straight up glutathione. So your body can produce a lot of glutathione that way. And actually, you can produce a lot of glutathione by doing ice baths. I remember when I was playing hockey, we used to have to take ice baths all the time, and so they're great for reducing inflammation in general, but also when you're talking about the liver and alcohol and everything like that. When you're producing glutathione, you're going to be quenching a lot of free radicals that are caused by nights of drinking or whatever, and so you can really stay ahead of the game when you do that stuff. So if you're an athlete, you're probably used to taking ice baths. If you're not, I would probably start very slow, even maybe a cold shower first, and then work your way into getting into the ice bath. Anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes is probably ample for that, and so that's known to increase your glutathione as well. So that being said, I'll talk about a couple supplements that I'd recommend for liver detox in general, and then if you're out drinking, to have some of these with you and to help to combat the effects of the alcohol. So number one is NAC, which stands for N-acetylcysteine. This is great for detoxification. So is milk thistle, number two. That's great for liver function in general. When people have messed up livers, milk thistle is usually a go-to. You've probably heard of that before. So that's one that I take pretty frequently, I would say, and especially if I'm drinking. And I alluded to this one before, is vitamin C. And so you can take that exogenously, or if you're having a drink, say a tequila, having some soda water in there and then squeezing a fresh squeezed lime or lemon, or even load up, have a couple limes in there. And so to really load up on that vitamin C, because that's going to, again, help with the detoxification, and then basically help to mitigate those AGEs that I talked about before. Something else you can use is glutathione. So you can use this. I would highly recommend getting a liposomal glutathione, because glutathione is broken down in your gut, and so to be able to absorb that properly, you need to have a fatty bilayer or a lipid bilayer that basically encapsulates the glutathione molecule so it can get absorbed into your system. And so those are a little bit pricier. Glutathione as a supplement, so that's what I was saying. Ice baths are relatively cheap. Again, they're not very, it's not as simple as just taking a pill, but if you're on a budget, that definitely works. Or the coffee enemas are a great option. And then adaptogenic herbs are a great option for liver detox and then just stress in general. Reishi is a good one. Cordyceps, I'll put a couple links to some more down below, but those are really good. And then you can also do calcium D-glucarate. That's a known liver detoxification agent. And then also you can do coconut charcoal. So this one a lot of times will bind a lot of the toxins that you ingest. So if you have, sometimes if I have food at a restaurant and I know it's questionable of quality, I will take a coconut charcoal with that to try to bind those toxins. Now, I would take the coconut charcoal away from any other supplementation because it has a tendency to bind to other things. So I would probably not take that along with the list of all the other things that I just said. So I would probably just pick a couple of those, and take those with you on a night out. And so take a couple vitamin C tablets with you. a gram, maybe 2 grams is plenty for a night out. And the milk thistle, the NAC, the glutathione, you can even find the glutathione in either like a gel sort of consistency or in capsules, and I'll try to find links for those that I can put below so you can find those out. But hopefully this was helpful for your liver and detoxification. So happy drinking, keep it in moderation, and until next time, thanks for watching.